So I've been figuring out the move to New York since Wednesday and it's Monday. So almost a full week of like really seeing what are my options, and I wanted to start filming and just kind of walk through that process for anyone that is curious, because moving to New York is very different. I think one of the biggest differences, and like I've only lived in LA and Seattle, so not an expert, but what I can say, a big difference between New York and those two cities is that in most cases, from what I've learned, is that you have to prove that you make 40 times the rent. This is on an annual basis, but to have anything decent in New York and you want to live alone, you basically need to make 6 figures. And I'll be honest, vlog, I don't make 6 figures. So I'm going about it in a very different way than I did when I moved to Seattle, when I moved to LA. I just love content like this. I love moving content, starting a new adventure, and just like being able to share that with you all. So this is the beginning of that. As of now, I actually did look on StreetEasy and I reached out to a few places, and pretty much every place that I saw that I really liked is gone now, which is fine. I really wasn't like seriously gonna lease anything like right this second. I more so just wanted to see what was out there. And then I've also been looking on, there's like 2 Facebook groups that I use, and I've been looking at lease takeovers and then like just straight up like subletting. All of them are so diverse. So what I will say for now is that the majority of them, they are just like sublet opportunities. There's one in particular right now that would be a lease takeover. They're all different price points in all different neighborhoods, so it's very, very diverse in that sense. I know what my ideal scenario is. I just am like really still trying to figure it all out. So that is where I'm starting this video. I like created a spreadsheet of all of the prospective places that I have on the table right now for New York, and I've ordered them by like cheapest to most expensive. So right now I have 5. So just to give you guys a quick rundown of what I'm considering right now. There is, out of the 5, there's 4 sublet opportunities and 1 lease takeover. So out of the 4, I'm looking at a room in Bushwick, flex room in Tribeca, a room in the East Village, like LES area, room with private access to a shared bathroom in Williamsburg Greenpoint area, and then the lease takeover is a room and shared bathroom in Brooklyn Heights. So out of these 5, so far I've spoken to the Williamsburg Greenpoint girl, and she's super cool. Just to give you guys like context, because I feel like everybody loves pricing, and give you guys an idea of like what people are asking for. The sublet in Bushwick is asking for $950 for the month, which is amazing. You do have 4 other roommates and 2 shared bathrooms. The sublet in that flex room in Tribeca is asking $1,650, and it's not even a full month. Then there's the sublet in the East Village LES area, and that one is $1,900 a month. And then there's a sublet in the Williamsburg Greenpoint area, and they're asking for $1,950 for 25 nights. So again, not quite a month. And then the lease takeover in Brooklyn Heights is asking for $2,500. So I think the lease takeover is sort of what I need to do in order to be able to get a license. Like my name goes on that lease, and that's what I need. The roommate is a law student, so I feel like she's super chill, and she has a boyfriend that lives on the Upper West Side, so she's like gone most weekends. It's supposed to be like obviously a nice building because there's laundry in the unit and there's an elevator, and Brooklyn Heights is where my future real estate office will be. So it's also like very close to Manhattan, like 15-20 minutes on the train. And when I say very close, I mean I've stayed places that were like 45, almost an hour away from Manhattan on the train, or you're on multiple trains. So I like that I'm still close enough to get over there, for personal preference and real estate. So I'm leaning towards it, but it's scary. Like I've never spent more than $1,900 on rent. So the idea of spending $2,500 to live with somebody and share a bathroom low-key sounds like a nightmare. And it makes me wonder if I could just find something on my own. And so that's where these sublets come in. They are all temporary, obviously, and the purpose would be to find my own place. So I don't know. I'm not even speaking to the roommate in Brooklyn Heights. I'm speaking to the person who's trying to find someone to take her room. And I just feel, yeah, like definitely the more we chat, it's good. So if I were to do Brooklyn Heights, I would be moving in January 31 is what we're talking about. So I would have a ton of time to like get all of my financials in order and be able to like really plan that move. It'd be after the new year, it'd be after my Sundance trip. So, you know, in a lot of ways it would be like very good, right? Because it just gives me more time. And maybe that's what I need to do. Whereas these other sublets, they would be next month. The girl in Williamsburg was super cool. We FaceTimed, and then I'm supposed to call the gal in Tribeca today. So I'd just be like, you know, just going out there, hoping things work out. So I don't think there's any right or wrong answer. That's the thing. I think it's all whatever's gonna make the most sense. So that is my recap so far. It is November 21, 2022. So many interesting things. Okay, so I just got off the phone with a woman in the East Village. So her place is like East Village LES. I actually am gonna play a little video for you guys. This is the room in Lower East Side, East Village for $1,900, I believe. It's really cute. And that's like a king size bed, by the way. The bathroom is so cute. It's a room, so she has converted the living room into her room. And for me, look, is it my favorite setup of all time? Absolutely not, but I would be paying more for the bedroom. And the room is really cute. She did a really good job with it. She likes my vibe. She just asks that I commit to February 1st, which I think is very doable. This one is $1,900. When you really like weigh things out, it's like the one in Tribeca, yeah, it's $1,650, but I'm paying basically for 2 weeks, you know? In this situation, 19 is something that I know I can commit to with my full-time job. I'm just like weighing the odds, you guys. I told her, I was like, I'm talking to other people, but your location is like the most ideal for me because I want to live in the LES. There's no laundry in the building, so that's definitely like a downside. I kind of like feel for her situation too, because she says that they raised the rent and that's why she's doing what she's doing. And I totally get that, you know, because that happened in my situation when I lived in my high-rise in Seattle, but I just didn't like choose to go this route, you know? So she has it until August, and she was like, you can stay as long as you want, but at the very least, like, I just want you to commit to February. So I feel very comfortable with the 1,900. I feel like the room is like very, very cute. And I think she's cool, like, you know, not super bubbly or anything. She's just kind of cool. So I don't know, you guys. This one definitely has me thinking. I told her to send her terms over because I do want to know like what she's expecting. For me, like I'm not willing to pay anybody until I go and like see them and like know that this is like a real thing, because if I lose out on even $900 because of a scam, like I'm gonna be pissed. And I don't want to put that energy out there, but like that is like the reality of the situation. But I think like overall I feel really good about it, because like otherwise my only other favorite so far has been the Brooklyn Heights one. And 2,500, as I've shared, just feels really scary. Like it feels like a lot. And 1,900 is a lot. Like, don't get me wrong, like this is a lot of like rent money, you guys. But if you watch any New York video, you know that that is just the reality of the situation. And there's a lot of interesting living setups that I've already ran into. So I need to think and process more. In case anyone was dying to see the famous shower next to the kitchen, here's a real life example for you. It's so weird. I personally could not. Comment down below if you could though. Or what are your thoughts in general? It's a no for me. So I figured I would do another update because I learned a lot yesterday. Long story short, I spoke to a handful of like short-term sublet opportunities. I spoke to long-term sublet opportunities. And I also looked into like finding my own apartment. Originally, I thought maybe I go out there for maybe a month and a half, and I find a place, right? I will find a place of my own. A broker reached out to me regarding my interest in a place I saw on Street Easy. It's like the most New York thing you've ever seen in your life. It's so cute. It's tiny, but it's like the cutest. Like I can't even handle it. Like the brick. The kitchen is my favorite. It's so cute. And then the fridge is on the left and like some storage. There's also a closet that he doesn't open. The bathroom, you're gonna see it in a minute. Like tiny room, I get it. Teeny tiny, tiniest of tinies. But come on, the subway tile, like are you kidding me? Little window, little storage, you need it. and I told her that I would be willing to lease it sight unseen. She then sent me all of the information, which I'm very happy about because she really broke down the upfront cost of moving. And it is all gonna vary depending on where you go. But in this example, first month's rent, security deposit equivalent of first month's rent, and a 15% broker's fee on the lease term. So it's like everything that you read about, everything that you see on YouTube, it's very, very accurate. And it's not that I ever doubted it, it's just that so many people move around into New York all the time that I thought, I mean, how are people doing it, you know? And that goes, it's the same for 40 times the rent. Like, that is very much a real thing. Again, I didn't doubt it, it's just now I'm experiencing it. So I decided at the end of my day when I logged out of work that right now finding my own apartment in New York is really out of the question because quite frankly, I don't have 10 grand laying around. And even if I did, it does feel weird putting it towards an apartment, you know? I really don't know how I feel about that as somebody who like works in real estate, who believes in purchasing property and building equity and all of those things. So 10 grand, though it's not necessarily enough to go buy a place, it's like, that's a big number. I don't know. For me, maybe I end up subletting like for a long time. I don't really know. I really don't know what the exact plan will be. It's just gonna have to fall into place as it goes. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad it happened because one, it was educational, but two, it made my game plan so much more clear. I feel like I've been very confused since Wednesday. It's now Tuesday. It's almost been a week of just like pure confusion, to be quite honest. So I'm not confused anymore, and I feel like I know what needs to happen now. So that started with contacting all of the temporary sublets and letting them know that like it's gonna take me longer to get everything in order for me to be able to get my own place, and therefore I need something more long-term. That's like something that I would recommend. Let people know. I just don't see like why you wouldn't, you know what I mean? So yeah, communication is everything. I still have 2 people that are really great options. The one in the East Village for 19 and Brooklyn Heights for 25. I'm trying to get more clarity for Brooklyn Heights because I would be doing a lease takeover, meaning I would be applying through the building, and I need to know like what I have to prove income-wise before I waste any more time on it. The East Village is a more ideal situation because of location and price, but the setup is very different. Somebody's living in the living room, you know what I mean? I'm renting a room. I just, you know, it's a little different. Like the Brooklyn Heights one feels more homey. There's like common areas and laundry in the building and things like that. So like in the unit actually. So I don't know. I'm trying not to think too much about it. I'm honestly just still trying to see what my options are because at this point, again, we're in November. I'm really thinking January, like end of January after my Sundance trip. So yeah, it'll be interesting to like see what happens, but I definitely don't want to settle. I don't want to like lock into anything too soon, and I need to make sure that it's like definitely going to work for me and the other person. So that is where we're at. Congratulations! I have an apartment in New York! Oh my god. New apartment. It's still very much coming together.